I brought to you a couple of days ago that South Africa has actually brought genocide charges against Israel at the UN. And here are some of the actual quotes from that. In the 3 years before October 7th, Israel killed approximately 7,500 Gazans, including 1,700 children. Over 18 months of weekly peaceful protests at the separation fence against the blockade, Israeli snipers killed hundreds and wounded over 36,000. That was called the Great March of Return, including nearly 9,000 children were wounded. Almost 5,000 unarmed people were shot in the lower limbs deliberately, many standing hundreds of meters away. No one who reads South Africa's application, so this is from the reporting by Mondo Weiss, reads South Africa's application for themselves could possibly credit Israel's claim above, because the statements of senior Israeli officials demonstrating genocidal intent are displayed in all their infamy, from the prime minister, president, and minister of defense on down, proving that Israel is deliberately fighting a war against the entire Gazan population. Here are some of the most distinguished quotes. So these are actual quotes from higher-ups in Israel. This is from Prime Minister Netanyahu, invoking the biblical story of the total destruction of the Amalek by the Israelites, which biblical passage reads in relevant part, quote, "Spare no one, but kill alike, men and women, infants and sucklings, oxen and sheep, camels and asses." And that was quoted directly by Netanyahu, kill everyone. President Herzog said it's an entire nation out there that is responsible. It's not true, this rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved. It's absolutely not true. And we will fight until we break their backbone. So President Herzog basically said there are no innocent civilians in Gaza, which of course is a laughable and genocidal statement. Obviously, a baby is innocent. Obviously, a child is innocent. So to say something like that is just a way of creating support for a genocide. Minister of Defense Gallant said Israel is imposing a complete siege on Gaza. No electricity, no food, no water, no fuel. Everything is closed. We are fighting human animals and we are acting accordingly. So again, ethnic cleansing speech to call them human animals allows for more easy acceptance of a genocide. This same tactic was used when the U.S. or really beforehand to allow for the U.S. to drop atomic bombs on the Japanese. Those atomic bombs killed hundreds of thousands, almost entirely innocent civilians, almost entirely not military. And the reason that was even remotely allowable amongst those who thought it was largely due to the racism that had been carefully laid against Japanese and Asian people, calling them insects, calling them less than human. Of course, that same tactic was used by the Nazis. And I noticed that just today on Twitter, something like Israeli new Nazism is trending. The hashtag Israeli new Nazism is trending because much of what's being said and done is very similar to the genocidal actions of the Nazis. But what I was going to say is the Nazis used the same tactic to genocide the Jews, right? Calling them less than human, calling them rats, calling them insects. All of those things are to wipe away or really tear down those defenses that we naturally have against killing innocent people. We naturally, unless we are a true psychopath, which is a tiny percentage of the population, unless we are a true psychopath, we naturally have a desire not to harm innocent people. So you have to convince the people who are going to perpetrate these actions that these are not actually people, that they're not actually human, that they're not actually innocent. You have to do all of those things, and that's what Israel is working so hard to do right now. Let's see. Here's another quote from 95-year-old Ezra Yachin, a veteran of the massacres in 1948 Nakba, was called up for reserve duty. He's 95. Called up for reserve duty as a motivational speaker to boost morale for the Israeli troops, the IDF right now. They put him in IDF fatigues. This guy's 95 and he's perpetrated massacres before, and they carted him around and had him speak to the troops as a motivational speaker. And here's what he said: be triumphant and finish them off, and don't leave anyone behind. Erase the memory of them. Erase them, their families, mothers, and children. These animals can no longer live. Every Jew with a weapon should go out and kill them. If you have an Arab neighbor, don't wait. Go to his home and shoot him. We want to invade, not like before. We want to enter and destroy what's in front of us, destroy houses one after another, let them drop bombs on them and erase them. So this is all ethnic cleansing speak. This is genocide speak. And when people say, oh, there's no evidence that they're doing it intentionally, that they're committing this genocide intentionally, people try and argue, oh, they're trying to hit the targets, they're trying to hit the tunnels, they're trying to hit the Hamas militants. But in fact, you have plenty of evidence that this is their intent, that genocide is the goal, is the intent. You have them publicly speaking about these things, which is why South Africa has brought charges against them at the UN. And while all that's going on, here's the U.S. response coming from spokesman John Kirby. He was asked about South Africa's genocide accusations.
South Africa's filed this 84-page lawsuit against Israel, accusing them of genocide. Israel says that this is blood libel. Does Washington agree? And where does this put Washington and Pretoria?
We find this submission meritless, counterproductive, and completely without any basis in fact whatsoever.
Without any basis whatsoever. Certainly looks like there's a shit ton of basis, is what I've noticed. Just reading quotes again. You don't have to, try and manipulate words or try and dig down or say what he really means is. You don't have to do any of that. You can just read the words coming out of Israeli officials, and there it is. Speaking, supporting ethnic cleansing, supporting genocide. And that's not even talking about the actions, which, of course, the actions all support genocide as well, or genocidal actions.